Hello. I'm JD.
Me. You. This is us.
And this is Podcast Under the Influence. I'm not so influenced today. Although I forgot to grab a drink, but I'll get over it. Coming at you with our 38th podcast. We just had we'll start off with the NFL. We just had the divisional round. Now we're heading to the NFC and the AFC championship game. First game. Go with that.
I really wanted Kansas City to win.
So did I.
They did not.
I did too. I didn't get my jersey. I'm mad about that.
Why are you mad about that?
I wanted to wear my jersey. I'm only wearing Redskins stuff. I wanted to wear something different.
There's always next year.
There is. He should be on the team next year. If he's not, it's just atrocity. So.
Well, the team is well put together. They don't have a lot of issues.
For the most part, no. I do have some. I'm mad about some things with the team in general, but for the most part, they are pretty well put together. Did you watch the game thoroughly, or?
No, something about a coin toss. I have no idea what happened.
I thought that was the Packers.
Oh, well, whatever. I have no idea.
Okay, I watched the Chiefs game. How to put this? The Chiefs. Everyone's, anytime the Patriots win, and I know you're not a Patriots fan. I'm not exactly a fan, but I just like their players. Anytime the Patriots win, there's always someone that says, "Oh, they cheated, and oh, they did this, they did that, yada yada yada." Chiefs lost the game because, first off, Macklin went out in the first quarter, so that didn't help him. So there was their deep threat, which he had a bad knee to begin with. He had an injury last week.
Yeah.
So, the Chiefs wide receivers could not catch the fucking football. They could not catch. There's so many plays, and Alex Smith through his whole career, and if you ever listen to Highly Questionable or Around the Horn with Bomani, he is as adamant about how horrible a quarterback he is, and he's had this in the past, and I understand it because of his past, but in the future, lately, he's been great at it. He's known for having 3rd and 5 and always throwing to the safety valve and getting that completion percentage up, but never getting the first down. And I watched the end of that most of the game, but I had some points in the game where I was working, obviously. So, he was throwing darts to guys deep, and they just could not hang on the foot. There's one he had late. It was a throw to Conley. It's like 3rd and 15. Conley, 25-yard dart, hit him right perfectly in the hands. Conley catches it and turns, goes to tuck it. Guy knocks it out. You got to hang on to the football.
Well, that was the story for 3 games.
Yeah.
3 games this weekend. The scores would have been a lot different if everyone, all of Russell Wilson's receivers looked like they had butterfingers. All of the Broncos receivers looked like they had tennis rackets for hands.
Yeah, Panthers too.
Everybody was having a hard damn time. The only game that everyone seemed to catch what was coming to them was the Packers Cardinals.
I thought we'll get to that in a minute, but Aaron Rodgers quicker. Cheat. Okay, not catching the ball.
Yeah.
Clock management.
Yeah.
They had the ball with about 6 minutes and 30 seconds left.
Yeah, they blew that.
They got the ball on the 1 yard line. First off, I'm mad at the receiver. You got to fucking jump over that guy. I don't care. Either you jump over him or you angle yourself so
you go for it.
Yeah, so you can at least lunge. You have to they could have 2 things that happened on that drive. Conley caught the ball and jumped out of bounds. A 5-yard gain. Okay, they didn't stop the clock. First miscue by the offense.
Yeah.
One of the coaches has to catch that. That was 35 seconds that ran off because of that. Okay, that's the first thing. Catch the ball. Well, all the drops. We'll get into that. They catch the ball, they get to the 1 yard line. And they get the 1 yard line with roughly a little over 3 minutes. I thought he should have dove in the end zone. He just tried to run the guy over, but whatever. You still go down there. You should go down there and you should have run 3 or 4 straight pass plays. Why? If you complete a pass, it's a touchdown. If you get in trouble, you can always just throw it out of the back of the end zone. If you don't complete a pass, it stops the clock. Three of those options are not bad. Because 2 of them stop the clock, and 1 of them is a score.
Yeah.
Obviously, you can get sacked, which you have 3 timeouts and a 20-second or 2-minute warning.
Yeah.
Or, interception, the game's over, but you got to take that chance anyway. it's either game or nothing. It's not like you have a whole 2 more quarters to do it.
Yeah.
So they end up scoring on. They ran 2 running plays, and then they ran a third running play where they got a false start. They got a false start first, so they had to run a running play. They got to about 2-yard line. Then they ran an option to get in the end zone with 1:30.
Mm-hmm.
They could have gotten the end zone with about 3.5 minutes left if they'd been managed the clock better.
Yeah.
They don't have to do the onside kick. They can just kick off. Maybe the Patriots don't convert, and they get the ball back with about roughly around 2 minutes left.
Mm-hmm.
And you have a timeout or two still, and you're not getting the ball like in the 20 or 30-yard line. You're getting it like the 40.
Yeah.
Because you pinned it back so far. So, and plus there's always the option of punt return for touchdown.
Mm-hmm.
That's how they started the last game, right?
Yep.
Or kickoff, but you know what I mean.
Yeah, it's how it opened up.
So clock management was bad, and obviously the Patriots always get the lucky bounce. There's a pass late where they go to throw to Gronkowski, the one of the linebackers for the Chiefs, just jump in front of it and bang it, pops up in the air, and guess who's? It lands right in the hands of Julian Edelman right at the first down. This is the way it works, but
yeah.
That's why the Patriots are there, though. They are always prepared, and they're prepared for those situations. You think Tom Brady would have took 6 minutes to score there?
No, he'd have had it wrapped up in about a minute.
He'd had a minute and a half, maybe 2, tops. And just depending on circumstance, maybe a little bit longer, but it would not have been because of clock management. It would have been because of maybe good defense or something. You know what I mean? So that's what I blame the game on. Congrats to the Patriots and then the Chiefs. They both played tough games. So the Chiefs finally figured out how to stop them. The Patriots, they just hung on longer. If they had 3 more minutes, they might have won that game. But
I did see the end of that game because I was like sitting there screaming at the television going, Alex, what are you doing?
I thought Alex played great.
Yeah, but that clock management, that was
I want to blame the coaching a little bit on that.
That kind of shit drives me nuts.
Yeah. And especially from an Andy Reid team.
Yeah.
Because he's like, I would say top 5 coach easily.
Mm. He's proven himself, that's for sure.
Yeah, he's a top 5 coach easily. Yeah. Not sure where you would rank him, but he's my second favorite probably. He's probably the second best coach in the league next to the Big Ben. I'm trying to think of any coaches better than him right now off the top of my head.
Everyone's had, it seems like for the most part,
Mike McCarthy, he's up there.
Yeah, but I mean, everyone's had issues this season with coaching. Just about every team.
And we'll talk about coaching in a while because there's a bunch of coaching. So, next game, Packers Cardinals. I thought was the best football game.
Hands down was the best football game. That was Rodgers. You can never, ever count that team out in the fourth quarter.
Well, in the playoffs, because in the regular season they just he's like we're in the playoffs, but but he played fantastic. And he did his best.
Converted a 4th and 20.
What are his receivers? Janice?
Yeah, out of nowhere.
Efrendara or something like that?
Yeah.
Efrendara or something like that. Rob Cobb went out, the first quarter?
Mm-hmm.
So you're stuck with, he didn't have Devontae Adams. So you had James Jones, Rich Rodgers, and then Janice, and then Efrendara or whatever. I think it's, for some reason I think that's right. That sounds like it's accurate in my mind, but Cardinals played well too, though. Look at Larry Fitzgerald, man. He had a hell of a second half.
He did. He had one hell of a second half.
And in overtime, and he deserves it. I didn't care either way because I like Aaron Rodgers. I don't like the Packers, but I like Aaron Rodgers. I like most of the guys on that team. I wish Jordy Nelson was playing. I do like him.
Mm-hmm.
But on the Cardinals, they've looked good all year. Bruce Arians is a hell of a coach. Me and you both like Larry Fitzgerald.
You can't hate him. He's such a nice guy.
No, he's such a nice guy. He's a class act. Probably the classiest guy in the league. Probably one of the smartest players in the league, too.
Well, he's going back getting his master's in radio communications or something like that.
He already has a degree in
He's been getting his master's.
So he played a great game. And that was the best game. I didn't see the Hail Mary. I left work right before
that. It 4th and 20 and then the Hail Mary. It's only Aaron Rodgers.
And he threw that on the run.
Mm-hmm.
It was like 60 yards in the air or something like that. That was a hell of a throw.
There's 3 guys that you can depend on making that shot 90% of the time in that situation.
Aaron
Rodgers, Brady, and Roethlisberger.
I don't think. Well, if it was this weekend, Roethlisberger's couldn't make it.
No, not healthy. No, but completely healthy. All 3 of them completely healthy. they are the 3 quarterbacks in the league that 90% of the time they are going to get that.
Yeah, like you can't rely on Peyton to do that. I think Drew Brees could throw that. I think Drew Brees would throw that pass.
Well, they could, but then we'd have to go into the issue of whether or not they have anyone out there to help them. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because when it comes to that situation, that's like 60% can the quarterback get it there, and 40% can the receiver get there too.
Well, if you go that route, Matt Stafford's probably got the best odds because he has every time. But if you're going that route, that's just to support your argument. But like, for example, we're not getting on the Broncos yet, but if you went to the Broncos game, Peyton Manning couldn't do that. His arm's not strong enough.
Not anymore.
No.
But
Cardinals.
You know what? Congratulations to the Cardinals who played a hell of a game. You come out on top at the very end. It was a clean game. It was a very clean game.
Yeah. Well, I thought the Patriots game was too. Patriots Chiefs.
I'm not So, okay. But anyway, I go Cardinals.
All right. I'm actually, and I haven't listened to. I've been listening to the first take on the way down. I haven't finished this episode today. Skip Bayless always gives Aaron Rodgers shit. No matter what happens, he's like, "Oh, he didn't play good enough. He should have played better to win." I thought Aaron Rodgers played absolutely the best he possibly could
in the situation he was in.
Yes, to get that team to where they were. And yes, he had a Hail Mary help him a little bit. But you know what? You got to throw the ball there. You got to put your team in that situation. He kept the team being close enough. And that defense actually kept the game pretty close, too.
Well, what was he this season? 3 for 3 for 60-plus yard passes?
Something like that, yeah. And without Jordy Nelson. He didn't have 3 of his receivers.
Mm-hmm.
So, that's enough about that. That game was a clean game. It was just a good football game. It was. I don't think I watched it close enough to figure out what was the determining factor in one way.
I didn't either.
I just think Cardinals got the ball last. That's basically the best we can put it.
Yeah. Well, I was on the phone with a buddy of mine for like most of the game.
I'm gonna ask you
just catching it on the fly.
Ask you a question on this. What do you think about the overtime? The way overtime's done?
I think it would be more exciting if they would just go to the college way of doing it. Do a Texas shootout. Everyone gets 4 downs and the ball in the 25.
I disagree.
Then just play out the quarter. Those are your only 2 options because I'm really dissatisfied with the fact that if you get field goal, then the other team gets a chance to get a field goal. If you score a touchdown on the opening drive, the other team gets 1 possession. Like, I'm still not seeing how it's fairer than it was, but I still don't see it being overall fair. I mean,
I don't think you should be allowed to get field goals. That's my first.
Yeah, I think then the first touchdown scored wins the game.
Yeah. Clay Matthews was bitching about the fact that he doesn't think it's fair that we get the ball. I'm like, you had 45 minutes to win the game. 60 minutes to win the football game. If you would just take care of your business in that 60 minutes, you don't have to rely on the coin toss. Not to mention, if your defense doesn't give up 70-some yards to the first play of overtime, you don't have this situation. I just get tired of the cop-out where everyone's like, let's say this happens. Let's say they go down. Let's say you do that way, where each team gets a possession.
Yeah.
Arizona gets a touchdown. Packers going to get a touchdown. Now what happens?
You go back to Arizona.
Yeah, but okay. Oh, so Arizona's allowed to get 2 possessions, but we're only allowed to get 1. That's not fair again. See?
How is that not fair?
What do you mean it's not fair? Arizona gets a second.
Have you ever watched an overtime in college football?
I'm not about that. I just think it should be like first team to score. I like the first team to score, and it should not be It should not be field goals. You should not win an overtime game on a field goal. Those should be completely taken out of the game when it comes to overtime. It should be first touchdown.
No, I like the Texas shootout.
I don't like the Texas shootout.
I love the Texas shootout
because
I absolutely love watching it.
See, that completely negates.
Because after the 3rd touchdown, you have to go for 2.
So when you go to overtime, you completely negate how football is played. Kickoffs, having to go all those yards. You completely negate how it's played to deal with that.
Yeah.
No, I disagree.
Because
you had 60 minutes to win the game. If you don't win the game in 60 minutes, you're under the gun. It's called sudden death overtime for a reason.
Well, then why is it technically fair?
Let's go to hockey.
Why is it technically fair in your mind? Because I think this is where I'm lost in your head. That if the first guy to get the ball gets a touchdown and then the game's over and the other team doesn't even.
That'd be like me saying. That'd be like me saying in the course of 60 minutes, if you're the Packers and I'm the Cardinals, in the course of 60 minutes, you had the ball for 40 minutes and I had it 20, and you won by a touchdown. I'd say we never had the ball the same amount of time. We should get 20 more minutes to score. That's exactly the same thing. You have 60 minutes to win. And don't use a cop-out of, oh, we didn't get a possession in overtime as your excuse for why you lost. You get a chance to play defense, too. Step up and play defense. Is that what you were asking me, or what?
Well, you're coming back to the same thing to where you can't scream at the television and say your team lost on a penalty because you shouldn't have been in that situation to begin with.
Exactly.
That I'm in agreement on. But I don't like the just come out, we get the ball, we score, game over, that's it. You know what I mean? Because everyone wants to talk about fairness in the league. Which apparently was a coin. I didn't see the coin flip issue. So it didn't flip. It just kind of went straight up and straight down. And since it didn't roll, they had to do it again. That was my understanding of it. No, I really like the Texas shootout because it's so much fun to watch. It takes and I understand what you're saying. It takes part of the game away from it. It takes the big play, all that. It takes it out of it. But then it's just, you got the ball on the 25. You're not going to get any better than that to start it, and then boom, we go down, we score a touchdown, but we miss our extra point. But then the next team goes, scores a touchdown, gets their extra point. Game over. We're talking about extra point. That's the game over. But you know what I mean? If there you are, you're on the 25-yard line. You're not going to be in a better position to score a touchdown. You go down there, don't score a touchdown. Team goes to the other end of the field, does theirs, scores a touchdown. Game over. That's it. Done. And instead of playing for another 9 minutes or another, good God, sometimes 15 minutes, and then you end in a tie, which is ridiculous. Then the overtime could be over in 30 seconds, just like what Tebow did to the Steelers years ago. Just came out, whoop, game over. That quick. I like that. I don't. I think it's fun to watch. And if you're in like your fantasy stats, the way I like my fantasy stats, you talk about padding your quarterbacks. Earlier this year, the Redskins were playing Atlanta, and they went to overtime. Atlanta got a pick six to win the game. That's them taking the bull by the horns and taking the game from the Redskins. I would almost agree that would be game over because technically at that position, both teams had possession of it. Technically, they had possession too if they kicked it off, but yeah. Well, you know what? Hey, I'm sorry, you play defense for a reason. It's not like the offense is just completely unabated and they just get a free path to the end zone. You play defense. If you just play defense better, you don't have that issue. Yeah. The way they're adjusting the rules in overtime has to do less with people like me and you who actually know what the fuck the game is and understand the rules surrounding it as much as we can, as much as they allow us when they themselves actually know what the hell's going on. That's for the casual fan. Because the casual fan, like, my mother would be the one sitting there screaming, but we didn't even get a chance to get the ball. And I see what you're saying. Well, you had 60 minutes to get the ball. Why didn't you do it then? I get that, but that's why this is going to constantly be a thing. I have my preference. I'd like to see a Texas shootout. It's never going to happen, but that's fine. You know why they have the format they have now? The reason why they have the format they have now is, one, there's complaint that if you went to like just an extra quarter, they originally wanted to do, too many players would get injured. That much more football, your cramps, you're just more likely to get injured. Second, time frame, the amount of time the football game is played. Yeah, it's already on 4 hours, 3.5, 4 hours. Yeah. And if you're playing another quarter, it's another 35, 40 minutes, maybe an hour. And you also have programs on afterwards. So there's multiple different reasons as to why they went with the, sudden death format. I don't think you should be able to win with a field goal in overtime. That's just my personal opinion. Cut it out, make it a touchdown. You shouldn't just be able to get the ball, return it to like the 30-yard line, and get 3 first downs and kick a field goal when you're done. Sorry, a game that's that good should not end with the least talented player on the team, or at least athletic. I don't want to say talented, but at least athletic player kicking the ball and then walking out the field to win. This should be coming down to the hog mollies and the quarterbacks and the guys that get paid millions and millions of dollars. You know what I mean? But that's why kicking's a part of the game. It is. And look at Blair Walsh. Blair Walsh, that was his game. Yeah, without his leg, they would have never seen Blue Mountain State. There's one episode where they had a kicker issue. The coach,
I've actually watched the show not as like a comedy, as more like a documentary on the things in the NCAA does.
Mm-hmm.
And it's more, now that I've watched it not as a comedy, but actually just watching it,
Mm-hmm.
they do more about like the fucked up shit the NCAA does and the sanctions they put on teams and the whole, you can't like let a kid have, if you have like a team meeting, you can give kids bagels, but you can't give them cream cheese. That's stupid. They actually go over those things really well. And that's why I think you would actually enjoy the show. They just really go over everything that happens in the NCAA, not just what happened. Like,
there'll never be a single person in the NCAA who's up in the bureaucracy of it that could come look me dead in the eye and say it's all about the kids. It ain't about those fucking kids at all. It's about all the money you get paid.
But you should watch. I think you should watch that show, but I know you have so many shows on your docket. It'd be a show I think you would actually enjoy.
That's the only thing I wanted to do was get caught up.
That's like the very first episode. It's like it's rookie hazing. Mm-hmm. So the first thing they're doing is like shaving each other, and they're shaving each other. And then Alex Moran, the rookie quarterback of the movie, the show's basically about. Mm-hmm. He's like, "This is what we're doing. Can't you just like punch us or something, and we can have a drink?" He's like, "What's your problem?" I'm like, this is really fucking gay. It's not gay. Quit saying that. So later he's like, "Oh, you guys lost your thing," or they're like, they had to keep a hold of the book that has everyone's secrets. He's like, "You guys lost your book. Time for a chocolate cookie race. What's that? You gotta stick a cookie between your butt cheeks and you gotta run the whole length of the field. And the loser has to eat their cookie." It seems pretty gay, man. Stop saying gay. So the very first episode, they make fun of how stupid hazing is. Mm-hmm. And then there's like another. They had like a Rudy episode. No. Got him. And then you have to start, and like all these players are taking gifts from these agents, and basically they pinned it on him, on the Rudy guy. God, you would really enjoy the show. And then the kicker one is like, I wish I could go back in time and beat the shit out of whoever invented kicking, because kicking's such a weird thing. But anyway, oh man, let's go to the next game.
You know what? Terry Bradshaw was right. When he said at halftime, you should just go ahead and change the channel. He was not kidding.
Oh, no. The second half was crazy because Seahawks made a nice little run.
Yeah, but the Panthers didn't score nothing. They scored all 31 points in the first half of that game.
I wonder what it was. Did they just quit trying, or did they pack it in early? Or?
I don't know. It was 31-0. I think they just kind of thought they had it wrapped up and weren't too concerned with it.
Well, if the Seahawks would have came out and played hard in the first half like they did in the second, that would have been a completely different football.
Well, I'm telling you right now, if the Panthers think they're going to get away playing like that to win the game against the Cardinals, they're going to get slaughtered.
I think Cardinals. We'll get to our predictions here later, but Panthers came out like gangbusters. They threw the ball. They looked like the better team for a half, but at the second half, when the Seahawks actually started trying, Seahawks really looked like a better team.
They did.
They really shut down Greg Olsen. They shut down all their options. Cam Newton couldn't get anything going.
Yep.
Seahawks, they moved the ball. They actually ran pretty well.
Mm-hmm.
Lockett and Curse. Always Lockett and God, Curse. He's not a bad player. I like him, but God, always seems to get the ball in the times when they really need him. But Russell Wilson proved why he's close to the MVP race. He's not going to win it, obviously. Cam Newton should win.
It wasn't an overall. It was a snore fest in the beginning because it was just like touchdown.
Like watching her wait.
Yeah, it wasn't really that entertaining. But then when Russell started turning it on toward the end of the third quarter, it was like, oh well, they might actually pull this off somehow. They did not.
The 17. Okay.
But if they would have gone for the field goal at the end of the first half,
and then they got the other one they missed. That could have been
completely changed the face of the game.
But
instead of going for that field goal, instead of going for that field goal, they decided to go for the touchdown and didn't get it. So
fourth and 5, right?
Yeah. They could have had the field goal.
That's probably because at that point they're probably feeling very bleak about their chance of coming back. So like, we got to get a touchdown here to give us any kind of chance.
Yeah, but that 3 points is at least a start. It's a step in the right direction.
If you look at the game earlier this year, was it Carolina versus the Giants? Giants were down 35-7.
And
came back and they didn't win it, but they put it to them. They made it close.
Oh, and I figured out why Troy Aikman doesn't have any more Super Bowl rings than he does.
What?
Because he was questioning why Pete Carroll wasn't going to kick a field goal on a third down. Joe Buck just looks over at him and goes, "It's only third down, Troy." Oh, I'm sorry. Are you even watching what you're talking about up in the booth?
You know why
daydreaming?
You know why he doesn't play anymore. He had to stop playing, right?
Too many concussions. Yeah, his brain's loose.
Yeah, it's a little. He got a couple screws loose. All right, last game of the evening. Oh God, I just want to lick all the salty tears off the wall of the Steelers. Oh, Kevin came to the bar and I gave it to him, man. I let him have it.
Hey, they one stupid fucking mistake lost that game for the Steelers.
You don't know that.
Tucson's fumble.
It was a 1-point game at that point with about 6 minutes left.
Yeah,
you don't know that cost the game.
That was the deal breaker right there.
Oh, it ended up being the deal. You don't know that.
But that just sucked the wind out of the offense.
I was very busy at the bar. I yelled at like 4 people at work. I literally bitched out James because he was back there talking to everyone. When I had a full bar, and like you know how like you have like the tables behind the bar, and like their fucking kids are sitting there. So I had to serve the bar people and their goddamn kids. I had 2 different people doing that. And then there's phones ringing. People need sat. Some asshole needed ice cream and then to-go orders. And I go in the back, and James is talking to his girlfriend, Jenna or Elizabeth, and one other person that was supposed to be out, Tim. And then I'm like, could someone get the fuck out front? Seriously, there's people need ice cream, there's food, and I have a full fucking bar out here. They didn't comment back. And James was like, don't yell at me. I'm like, you're fucking instigating. You're a fucking manager. Act like one.
Get out there and do your job.
That's exactly what I said to him. And I'm pretty sure everyone out front heard me because I yelled it. I mean, I don't think you've ever heard me like yell at anyone at all, but I literally like yelled it. And it wasn't like in a calm voice like I just said it right now. I'm like, could anyone get the fuck out front and help do something? Anyway. So I didn't watch most of the game, but according to what I was just listening to on Mike and Mike, and what I was listening to from First Take, Broncos dropped a lot of passes.
They did. It was terrible.
It was terrible.
It was abysmal.
He said 6 drops is what is credited, not to mention like guys had to handle the ball and they got knocked out.
The score of the game should have been it should have been 21-13 by the end of the first half.
Who?
Broncos.
Okay, but that's what they said was dropping a lot of Broncos. Just making sure. I didn't know the Pittsburgh dropped them or not. I didn't know. I saw the end.
The biggest mistake of the game was Tucson. Of course, he's sitting over there on the sideline, like balling into his terrible towel. It's like, you know what that means? You're not going to be here next year. That's exactly what that means.
He had a lot of yards, apparently.
He did, but it only takes one fuck up at the wrong time in that right organization. You're going. That's all that matters.
Well, I mean, they're going to get Le'Veon Bell and what?
Oh, they're going to re-sign D'Angelo Williams. That kid proved his metal. But no, I knew the Broncos were going to win that game as soon as the Panthers won their game. Why? Because last week
all the home games won.
Last week all the road teams won. This week all the home teams won.
Yeah.
Next week, one home team, one road team.
Just home. Panthers. I think it's going to be Cardinals. Patriots. Well,
we'll
just go ahead and jump to the next game. So,
that was the last game. There was really nothing else to say.
Oh, I meant like next week. I just want to talk some more about that.
No, there's nothing to say.
I gave the Steelers a better chance of beating the Patriots because Ben will be a week healthier. They'll have Antonio Brown back. They might have D'Angelo Williams back. So I gave them. They had a better chance of beating the Patriots than the Broncos do. Do you think the Broncos are going to be able to score on the Patriots? Patriots have a better defense than the Steelers. And you got to
the Broncos have a better defense than the Patriots, so there's that.
Yeah, but the last time the Broncos played the Patriots, first off, they only beat them by a touchdown. And the Patriots, the Patriots didn't have Julian Edelman. They didn't have Gronkowski. Gronkowski went out in the first quarter, but they didn't have Julian Edelman. So you're going to have the Broncos or the Patriots at full strength versus the Broncos, and you can't tell me that Peyton Manning actually played well. I do not think he played well. That's my personal opinion.
I'm trying to decide whether he was throwing the ball too hard or his receivers were just that stupid.
I think it might be a combination of them.
But no, the one I want to see the Cardinals and the Broncos. That's the game I want to see. Larry Fitzgerald to get maybe the only Super Bowl he'll get in his entire career versus Peyton Manning going out on top. That's a far more interesting story than, oh, the Patriots are here again. for the 100th time. Maybe Tom Brady will get a 5th ring this year. There's no fucking excitement in it for me if that happens. The Broncos and Cardinals are going to be far more exciting game.
Are we on next week now?
I thought we were.
Okay. Well, we got Cardinals, Panthers. I got Cardinals winning. They're just a better overall offensive team and defensive team. This is my personal opinion. Panthers, they've done great. Cam Newton has done a great job, but all they have offensively is Greg Olsen. You can't tell me Jonathan Stewart's going to get 100 yards rushing on the Cardinals. In my opinion, you're just not going to get that.
Well, I think Arizona has far more offensive weapons than
Yeah.
Carolina does. Just about anyone who's on that offensive line standing there could score a freaking touchdown. Anybody.
Yeah.
Including the center.
Maybe. We have Floyd. You have both the Johnsons, Chris and Dave Johnson.
Yeah.
You have Brown, Josh Brown.
Yeah. All of which were pretty much either average and above fantasy performance this season. Yeah. All of them.
Well, Larry Fitzgerald had a breakout. It was probably one of his best years he's had in a long time, which I'm happy about that for him. Mm-hmm. I got Cardinals winning that game. It'll be about 30-23, something like that.
I'm gonna say it's gonna be 35 to 30. About 35 to 28, somewhere in that ballpark.
We'll see. Captain Zaro get him a field goal. That could be 3 touchdowns, 3 touchdowns, 2 field goals, 3 field goals, something like that.
Partridge in a pear tree.
And the other game, Patriots Broncos. I know you want the Broncos to win, but I'm thinking logically here, the Patriots are going to win this game.
I don't know. They're at Mile High.
Yeah, I don't think it matters. I personally think it matters.
Okay. It seems to work in their favor more than
Tom
it
Brady, if you had Peyton Manning from 2 years ago, I would agree with you. They don't. He hasn't played great. The team isn't catching the football. The only thing going well for them is their defense is pretty good.
Well, the running game seems to be stepping it up ever since.
Slightly, yeah. I mean, you didn't get a rushing touchdown.
I don't know. I really want the Broncos to win. I think they actually have a chance. I'm not going to just write all this Tom Brady.
Well, there's always a chance.
Tom Brady AFC Championship. Quote some fucking stat from 300 years ago, and then everyone lick Tom Brady's fucking cock.
You just hate that man, don't you?
I despise
So you're allowed to hate Tom Brady, but I'm not allowed to hate the Steelers, huh?
I just hate Tom Brady. I don't wish anything bad to him. I just don't fucking like him.
I don't hate the Steelers. I just don't want them to win and be prosperous every game.
Yeah, but yours is a petty thing. It's not like Ben Roethlisberger
was
ran
my
over
thing,
your
petty.
fucking cat. It's just because you heard one fan
fan
one statement one time, and you're just like, fucking asshole. That's not the way it is. And then you're just all bent out of shape about it.
What do you mean?
Baltimore fans say a lot of dumb shit all the time.
I never hear them at my bar.
I hear a bunch of Cincinnati fans run their mouth all the time. Patriots fans run their mouth all the time. I don't hate their team just because their fans don't know how to control themselves. It's not the team's fault that their fans are all fucking morons.
You hate Tom Brady. Why? Because he's the winner. He's a champion.
I can't wait to sit in hell and watch him burn for all the cheating he did.
Oh, wow. He did one thing that he might have done, and there's no actual proof that he did it, and all of a sudden he's a cheater and he's going to sit in hell.
Nah, there's more to it. There's more to it than that. It can't be, it's not as simple as he's only done one thing wrong. He's got caught doing one thing wrong. I don't know. In this era,
Steelers have cheated more than any other team in the league.
Yes, according to some website that you read. And everything on the internet is 100% truthful. Just like if you find this random bug and touch it, your hand will fucking rot off. I saw another one of those today where someone photoshops some ugly fucking mushroom onto their hand. Like, don't ever touch this bug, it'll cause foot rot. I believe what the scores are because I saw the games.
Okay, so I can't believe a website, but you're going to believe an accusation thrown towards Tom Brady. Okay.
I don't know. My only thing is back in the day.
Is that thing up there flipping me off?
What, the giant black robot?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Just making sure.
He does that.
It looks like it.
He does that. That's his thing. He's cool.
You came here and just did that just for your comment.
No, he's been up there like that for like 3 years. I just like to see if anyone ever notices that they're getting flipped off by a giant robot.
I noticed it. How often you notice that?
Holding a teddy
Am I
bear.
the first person to ask you?
No. My nephew's like, what's that robot doing? I'm like, don't worry about it. It's not important.
Just curious. I was just curious. I looked up there and I'm like, that motherfucker, that black fucking son of a bitch. Robot, not person.
But I don't know.
Happy Martin Luther King Day, by the way. I'm gonna get some KFC later and celebrate.
Fuck it, why not? You gonna get some grape soda to go with it?
Orange soda, maybe.
Great drink.
Great drink. Okay, so what were you saying?
I don't know. Back in the early days of football, I could see dynasties being built lasting forever because there wasn't like people just coming and going because of the money. Like you could build a team and hold on to a team for a good long period of time. Now, granted, the Patriots have done a fantastic job about doing that over the past 10, 12 years. They've literally built themselves a nice little dynasty. But just every year, faster, stronger guys are coming up. Bigger, nastier guys come up every year. Every class that comes up is just nastier than the one before it. And it's just the evolution of the sport. And it's so hard for me to believe that with the same collection of guys that they pretty much had since the onset of Tom Brady's career, that they just maintain that dominance and no one can get in there.
What the Patriots do that is different from everyone else is, first off, you watch the draft and you realize that they always trade down. They'll like trade their first pick for like 3 picks this year or something like that.
Yeah, they always do.
Like a second and 2/3 and a sixth or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
The reason why they do that is because they treat every draft pick like a lottery pick. And the more guys you have, the more chance you are of finding that guy.
That diamond in the rough.
Yeah.
Makes sense.
And, for example, let's say you have 7 draft picks every year, right? Roughly. 1 each round, 7 picks? 7 rounds?
8 rounds.
8 rounds? No.
I thought it was 8 rounds.
I thought it was 7, but 7 or 8, whatever. If you trade away your first and second round picks and you get 4 more picks for 1, you went from having 6 picks or 7 picks to you're having about 16 picks.
Yeah.
And that's 16 guys, and rookie contracts do not go against your salary cap. So you can have guys making $500K their first year. You see something in them you like, and then you sign them for extensions, or you get them in the next few years, and they're pretty cheap compared to, oh, this guy's a free agent. Let's give him $8 million every year for the next 3 years. Their philosophy is, we're going to see how these young guys do, because if we don't, we always just cut bait with them, and it doesn't kill us for the next 3 years. You don't have a commitment for 3 years.
True.
But if they're good, we get them for 2 more years. They progress, they develop, and then we give them their money. That's what a lot of teams do. Like the Redskins are horrible about this. They're starting to do better now. They're horrible about this because they'll trade up and get like that number 1 overall pick to get RG3 and sacrifice 5 or 6 draft picks to do it.
Mm-hmm.
But then you're hankering yourself for the next few years because you don't have those draft picks to get those cheap guys that could fit in. Like look at Alfred Morris. We got him 6th round.
Yeah.
And he's been one of the every program has their one guy who is their diamond in the rough, like Tom Brady. Obviously, he got picked in the 6th round. So that's what the Patriots do, and that's why they are so successful. And they have this mentality where you're gonna fit in, you're gonna work out. If you don't work out, you're gone. They don't deal with the BS. They don't do that, and they're all responsible for doing their job. And even the young guys that they plug in are responsible for doing their job. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. That's why you have who was the savior of the Super Bowl last year? Butler? Is that his name?
It's some random dude.
Malcolm Butler? Is that his name? Maybe. Something like, I do think it was Butler. I don't think it was Malcolm. I think Malcolm Butler played for the Seahawks last year. He's a savior. You know what? He only plays on like nickel series or dime series or like goal line passing situations. Stepped up and made a play. Now he started this year, and he was one of their shutdown corners. So that's why their system works. It's not like every other system where you go for the big name and you just plug it in. You just try to build this team that, if you wanted to, you could build like a team that cost $500 million. But everyone on the team is selfish. Everyone's out for themselves. Yada yada. And everyone can hate the Patriots, but their way has been successful for years for that reason.
I'd be more interested to see going forward what happens when people start wanting to get paid. Not on the player level, but on your staff when you get up. Like, let's separate the general manager out and he goes somewhere else. Or say Belichick
Well, it
decides
doesn't matter
that
because Belichick is in charge of all football decisions.
yeah, but let's just say Belichick decides, you know what? It's a lot longer in Tampa. You know what I mean? Just something like that
Decides
happens.
to retire.
Take one piece out of that regime, and I want to see what happens next.
Well,
that's what I'd be really curious
curious. I think it's a collection of everything. I think Robert Kraft understands the system that Belichick put in front of him, and he agrees with the system. Like he
might very well.
He probably just explained to him what exactly, like, each of these picks are lottery picks. I don't want. Sometimes we may have to get these big guys to fill our defense bigger, and I'm really sold on these guys. But for the most part, let's trade down. We get a lot more draft picks. We get a lot more guys, quality guys that may pan out. Not the guys that we got to spend a lot of money just to find out. These guys are going to cost a little less. They may pan out, and we're going to have guys that are set for the future because they're more concerned about production than they are about getting paid.
But you wouldn't be interested to see
paycheck,
if that team maintains.
It is going to be interesting. I'm not going to lie. It is going to be interesting.
That's what I want to see. I want to see if
there's a structure from
or Brady finally gets his head leveled enough times that he's like.
I think there's a structure built from the top all the way down. Like, I think Robert Kraft believes in that system that Belichick wrote. So if Belichick leaves, and let's say Josh McDaniels takes over. Josh McDaniels takes over, he's probably going to be doing the same exact. He tried doing that. So, like, here's the issue that a lot of Patriot coaches have when they go somewhere else and coach, is they try to do the same thing. They don't have the agreement of the general manager. They don't have the acknowledgement of the owner to do it a certain way. Like there's more than one way it's going to Look at the Steelers and the Ravens have been consistent the last 10 years. Steelers beyond that.
Yeah.
Right? Why? They have a system that they do. It works for them. The Patriots way works for them because they bank more on having more guys that they can plug in. It costs a little less, but the guys are fighting for their paychecks rather than drafting really good players that get their money, and they might have those years where they're like, oh, it's not my contract year, so I'm not worried about it or whatever. They have more guys that they somehow they drive more initiative out of players. You know what I mean? And when you're drafting those lower level guys that may not make it to the Super Bowl or the NFL,
you're getting more passion.
Yes, you're getting more. Just the desire's there. You know.
Yeah.
So
I can see that. I can see that. That makes sense.
And if you're the Steelers, you'll draft guys that are good. Which is here's a good draft pick. Here's that lineman a couple years ago tore his ACL in preseason. You know, I'm talking. I can't think of the name though. They draft those guys. They're quality guys, but they also do this. The Steelers. This is what Steelers do. They'll draft receivers, good receivers. They've been drafting good receivers for a long time. Burris, when they had Mike Wallace, he was very good with them.
I really can't call Plaxico Burris a good receiver.
He was a pretty good receiver. He's an idiot, but he's still a pretty good receiver. But was it Santonio Holmes?
Yeah.
They have all these, and once they get to a point where they have to pay him a lot of money, they usually cut him. The only two receivers they've really kept on for a long time is Hines Ward and now Antonio Brown.
Oh, they're going to hold on to Brown.
They are, because he's the best receiver in the league.
And Le'Veon Bell, they're going to hold on to him.
They're probably going to hold on to him. But are they going to keep a hold of? They might keep a hold of Brian, but are they going to keep a hold of Wheaton? Wheaton's going to go somewhere.
Well, Hayward Bay too.
Hayward Bay they got in free agency.
Well, but he could still be a factor.
He could, but they probably got him discounted a little bit or veteran minimum.
Yeah, true.
So every team has a system. Like Redskins system, this is their system. Draft the big name player, sell the jersey.
Hope for the best.
But their goal is not to make money. It is now because Scott McCullough is in charge of GM or football like personnel and shit. So what they used to do, like I told you at the beginning of the season, this is what the Redskins did in the offseason. They did not overpay for free agents. They got guys that were either on the way up or they got to the peak and they're on the way down, but they didn't overpay for those guys on the way down, like Jason Hatchett or Terrence Knighton.
True.
Okay? Those are guys that are not going to get overpaid in free agency. They were just looking for a job. Or the guys on the come up like Culliver, which you got into this year.
Yeah.
A couple other guys. They didn't overpay. And then what they draft? They drafted what they needed. The lineman, that's not a big sexy name, but he did good this year. That's what they do. So, yeah. Every team has their system.
I'm really intrigued by what happens next. When that system, when the main parts of that system begin
like Tom Brady and
but then again, that could have been the whole reason McDaniels was lured back in the first place.
What?
Was, hey, this is where you're going to be next.
Maybe.
Where I stand right now with my fucking
he was only
looking cutoff sweatshirt.
He was only with Denver for 2 years.
Yeah.
So, and he wasn't even that far. He was 5-0 his first season in Denver.
Yeah, but there wasn't even a question. Like, you pretty much, it was a foregone conclusion. He was going back to the Pats.
That always happens. Was it Bill O'Brien? He coaches his Texans right now.
Yeah.
Coaches Texans. He was a quarterback coach, and he went to Penn State for a year, and that was Texans. We'll see. Charlie Weiss left the Patriots, went and coached Notre Dame. How'd that work out? A coach of the Chiefs, I can't remember who it was a few years ago, was one of Belichick's assistants. Because that's why he traded him Matt Castle.
Mm-hmm.
And he kind of just gave it to him. Like, here you go, man. Good luck. So, I am interested. You're all right. I am interested to see how that plays out the next few years.
Mm-hmm.
So,
I think it's going to be entertaining.
Yeah. What's anything you want to say on the coaches? Coachings?
No real. Well, yeah.
McAdoo was a. That's. I'm sorry.
McAdoo, that's not the one that surprised me. 49ers get Chip Kelly. That surprised
me.
I figured that fucker would be done.
They have Colin Kaepernick for 2 more years. So they can get something out of him, or they're going to have to trade him. If they can't trade him, they're going to cut him. They still have to pay him. He's got guaranteed money still.
What the fuck's he going to do? No one, after seeing what he did to Philadelphia, there's no way they're going to grant him.
Let's be fair here.
Super control.
If you take away his GM personnel decision making, coaching wise, the 2 years he just coached, he was 20-12. He was 10-6 2 straight years.
That's not bad.
That's not bad at all.
But when you get the number one running back from the previous year on your roster, and then you give him 6 yards a game, that's like,
system thing.
What the fuck?
That's a system.
That made no sense.
I'm sorry, that's a system thing. Well, look what they did the last game of the year with him. Whenever he played Philadelphia played the Giants,
mm-hmm.
The coach who took over for him downhill ran the entire game with DeMarco Murray. He had like 130 yards.
Oh, he was crushing.
Yeah,
they looked really good.
All right, I think we're done with football. Are we done with football? Anything else you want to throw in there?
I'm just
done with football.
Okay. Unless there's another coaching thing, I really thought it was kind of weird. Lovie Smith got fired.
I know why I don't agree that they should have fired him, but I know why they fired him. The reason why they fired him is they had an offensive coordinator that they thought did extremely well with quarterback Jameis Winston, and a lot of teams were coming to him and requesting to do interviews and stuff, and they were afraid of losing their offensive coordinator, and they didn't think that Lovie Smith was doing that great anyway, so they just fired him. And they fired him and promoted him.
There could have been a more PR way to do it. I mean, the Giants did it with Tom Coughlin. They pretty much said, hey, you're going out the door. It's whether or not you want to resign or you're going to be.
You see how Tom Coughlin completely withdrew his name from Philadelphia?
Yeah.
I wonder why that was. I still say
I think the Maras might have been screaming at him. I don't know.
Maybe. I still say to this day, what should happen is Marvin Lewis should be fired and they should hire Tom Coughlin. It's my 12 years, no playoff wins. Woo! But Tom Coughlin loses his job after winning 2 Super Bowls. Woo! In that time frame.
That makes perfect sense.
That makes great sense. But nothing else on coaching? Nothing else on football?
I think that's it. 3 more games left.
3 games, man. 3 more weeks.
And then no more football until the draft.
Oh, all of our shows will be back on. It's going to be back on this week.
Maybe.
They are. 19th.
Is Gotham? No, Gotham starts next week.
Gotham starts next week, but Arrow, Flash, Agent Carter.
As long as the temperature stays above 5 degrees. My satellite goes out when it gets below 5 degrees. I have no idea why. It's like the weirdest thing. I called DirecTV. I called DirecTV about it last year.
You have this guy who can show you how to get it.
Yeah, I know, but I called DirecTV about it last year, and they're like, any complaints? It's like whenever it gets below 5 degrees, my satellite service goes out. She's like, sir, you are the only person ever to register that complaint. I was like, well, she's like, do you want us to send somebody out to look at it? And I'm like, are you going to bill me for a service call? She's like, well, technically we're going to have to. I was like, aren't I doing an upgrade? She's like, I wish it worked that way. She's like, I could get you season. any season ticket that you want for any sport you want. She's like, I can waive X amount of dollars off your bill. She's like, I can do this, 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 and this, but I can't send someone out to do a service call as an upgrade. And I was like, well, that sucks. So I'm just gonna. I think what happens is water gets into the coupler, and then when it gets so cold, it expands and separates the connection.
That sounds right.
So I'm just gonna wrap that son of a bitch in foam.
Sounds about right. By the way, I had a pleasant surprise last weekend. I don't know if I told you this or not. Mythbusters is not done.
Good for you.
They have one season left. I guess they were filming the last season
when they canceled the show.
Yes, and then they said this is the last season. I thought it was talking about last season, like season 15.
No,
but they have had 2 episodes this season, and they've been fantastic. They tested it's probably not even just another football, so I'll just skip to whatever we're doing next. We'll decide that in a second. See you.